Welcome everybody. Today we have Ajay Singh. Ajay was involved in the revolutionary project of fitting of biotoilets on Indian Railways. I think in the last decade, I think that has been the one biggest revolutionary project that the railways has completed. And today we have a situation where not only the environment of the railways has improved, but with the fitting of biotoilets, it is even the railway safety and the track maintenance, which has significantly improved with the fitment of biotoilets. So Ajay, please take over.
Very good morning to everybody. When this series of talks started, I requested Vidhi sir that why don't I also share something? So then I kind of volunteered that I will be I'll just talk about my journey with water. So thank you very much, sir, for giving this opportunity. Whether to quit railway or not, this question for first time came to my mind somewhere in the year 2019. This is the picture with one of my water gurus, Mr. Shrikantaya Vishwanath. In year 2019, I first broached the subject with him. I told him that I want to take up water projects full time. He told that you better stay back because being inside railways, you can do many changes. For that time, I kind of decided, okay, let me carry on. And luckily, I had an assignment which gave me lots of leeway to play around with different water projects. Actually, this thought kind of finally precipitated last year. This is June 28th. We decided to take a long journey. It was my birthday, and we decided to celebrate in a different manner. We took a long road trip all the way from Bangalore to Hospet to Bijapur to Kalburgi. And this is myself and my better half Mona and our little guinea pig Bongo. So three of us took this long journey, and it was a wonderful drive. All along, we went to Hospet, Hampi, and Gulbarga. And actually, Mona also had a concert in Gulbarga. So we had this concert there. And after that, while coming back, by this time, this journey was very interesting in the sense by the time I returned back to headquarters to Hubli, I had already made up my mind that, okay, I must now go full time for railway, for water projects, and remaining in railways, I cannot kind of scale up the way I wanted to scale up. So this was the kind of seminal moment when I decided last year in at June end that I will quit. 12th of October, I had quit my active service. My last port of call was in Southwestern Railway as CME EnHM. EnHM is something new. That is an environment and housekeeping wing which was formed in the year 2015 by railways. So I'm going to pace my talk in 4 parts. First, I will talk about the Biotoilet project. In this part, basically this commenced when I joined Railway Board as Director Development way back in 2007. That's when I joined Development Cell as Director Development, and we had a plethora of projects going on. Mostly they were kind of new technology induction, but we were also doing something like, leasing of rolling stock, exports, and other things also we were handling. Out of this, the Green Toilets project, which was already on when I joined in 2007, became a pivot for me as far as my trajectory is concerned. This is Bilson Bijwada. He heads an organization called Safai Karamchari Andolan, and he put a court case in Supreme Court, writ petition 583 of 2003. So in this, railway was also made a party. Now, manual scavenging is something a harsh reality of India. It even, I think, mostly it is finished now, but you may in a rare instances find cases where people are still doing manual cleaning of manholes and other things. So the act is the Employment of Manual Scavenging and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act 1993. The court case was put against that. So as a result of this court case, railway became kind of reactive, I'll not say proactive, and then they started developing biotoilets seriously. Prior to that, biotoilets, a little prototype kind of things were done. In 1993. ICF made a aerobic toilet. Again, vacuum toilets trial were done. Then 95 biotoilets by ICF was also a prototype and design was done. In 1997, something called macerated discharge system was tried. And since pressure of court was there to not have stations littered with the human waste, we went for CDTS in big way in May of 2005. But CDTS also basically, it was initially fitted in all the Rajdhani, Shatabdi and Durantos. But the way it worked, that the discharge was there when the train picked a speed of 30 kmph, which invariably happened at the top end or just beyond the top ends of the railway station. So basically what was happening was we had shifted the problem away from station, but the problem was not resolved. Uh, so real serious efforts to develop biotoilets started happening 2004 onwards. In the TMRS program of RDSO and IIT Kanpur, zero discharge toilets were being developed. And DRDO also had already developed some toilet, and some licensees also participated in these trials. Aerobic trials, biotoilet trials were also taken care of. So these are some minutes of April 2005. And that time, three basically classes of toilets were being tried out: vacuum, chemical, and biological. In 2005, Secretary Railway Board gave an affidavit telling that basically we are not doing. They countered the initial affidavit of theirs only, board's affidavit, where they had told that manual scavenging is being done. In this, it was told that no manual scavenging is being practiced by any establishment. Meanwhile, affidavit also talked about a global tender which was floated in May 2005 for development of biotoilets, 80 number of biotoilets. But actually, global tenders didn't yield anything because foreign solutions, they couldn't take care of our very, very peculiar kind of conditions. Like if you see toilet use, we are basically a country of washers, not wipers. We have much, much longer journeys, which other countries do not have. Frequency of usage of toilet is also much higher in railways, Indian railways. Of course, the number of passengers, our food habits are such that more roughage is there. And invariably, toilets end up as being garbage dumps. So people have this habit of putting lots of waste in toilets. So ultimately, we developed this biotoilet with DRDO, which basically they developed the toilet for Siachen. We moved it over to Bundelkhand Express, and then we developed the engineering of it at RCF primarily with where Mr. Parmanand Singh was there as the CD. Dr. Lokendra Singh was the DRDO scientist who was involved in development of the core technology, bio part of it. And then this bio tank came up. After this, many iterations have come. I'll not get into details of it. And of course, the seminal moment happened. Actually, the main momentum gained after Mr. Sanjeev Kishore joined Railway Board as ED development. I was already there since 2007. He joined in, I think, October of 2010. Sorry, 2009. So after that, we sat down and we started thinking how to make this happen. Then this idea of having a exclusive MOU with the DRDO came, and we decided that let us take over the engineering part, and the bio part let the DRDO take over. Because prior to that, we were just taking DRDO as a vendor, and they were not able to do many things. This kind of opened the floodgates for lots of innovations which happened. And this MOU, as you can see, many SAMs were involved in this. So it was signed by Vidhi sir. Of course, it was drafted by yours truly, and Sanjeev Kishore sir was ED that time. My batchmate Notial has also signed this. So During that time, what has happened, train toilets have become literally talk of the town. This is a presentation which I gave in September of 2012 to HU HUPA. There was a ministry called Housing and Urban Poverty Elevation. In this, you can see who all have become stakeholders as far as development of train toilets is concerned. Public was there, courts were there, media was there, parliament was there, National Council for Safai Karamchari, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Social Justice, UPA, Cabinet, all our staff. There were many stakeholders. It has not no longer a railway issue. It has almost become a national issue. Meanwhile, um, the court as well as the Safai Karamchari Andolan, they were very keen to get railways as part of the act. So in 2011, a board committee was formed where the amendments to manual scavenging acts were being considered to give viewpoint of railways. Meanwhile, things were going on at decent pace, and by the year 2011-12, we already had 9 trains fitted with IR-DRTO biotoilets. They were running across the country, as you can see. In May 2012, Sanjeev Kishore sir went out of board and he joined Northeastern Railway. And I was kind of left in the board to continue the momentum. We had already made almost 200 around that installations in different coaches. And we kept a very, very ambitious target of 2012-13. We made a target of 2,500, which was almost 10 times what we had done till then. We started working on that. In fact, it became MR's budget speech item also. And he told that in the next year, 2,500 coaches will be equipped with biotoilets. So now this did happen, and after that there were many advantages, and main advantage even to our staff happened. This used to be the condition of end walls normally before biotoilets, and after biotoilets came, all these areas became quite clean. A court case which was in Supreme Court came to Delhi High Court. The writ petition filed by Safai Karamchari Andolan, and in this their lawyer was Shamuna Khanna, and we had Gitanjali Mohan ma'am as our lawyer. And there was a very interesting hearing on 10th of October 2012. In this hearing, it so happened that Gitanjali ma'am was not well and she had sent her junior lawyer. And she was, even though after briefing of almost 2 hours, she was not able to cope up with the attack by the Safai Karamchari Andolan lawyer, Shumona. So actually, I asked her that her name is Mansi. I asked Mansi, please ask the bench. It was a Chief Justice bench of High Court. Chief Justice Endlaw and Justice Murugan, 2-member bench was there. I requested Mansi that you request the bench, I will address them. What was happening was when railways told that we are going to put biotoilets, and then this problem of manual scavenging of the human waste cleaning by people manually will be gone. So when we gave a projection of that we will be able to do this only by 2021-22, Shumona, the opposition lawyer, she started challenging that, and she told that this means that the railways is not serious about it at all. They just want to give some date. So our lawyer tried to explain, but she was not able to. So I asked her that you kindly ask the bench to allow me to address the bench. So she asked, and surprisingly for me, the Chief Justice agreed. And I explained to him why we cannot accelerate it more. I told him that basically we are going implementation. We are doing implementation of 100% for all the new coaches, but old coaches we cannot do, because old coaches, it has to be fitted in under frame. And I explained the technicalities, and I was surprised that within 4 to 5 minutes, the court agreed to our stand. In fact, in between, Shomona tried to interject me, but CJ put her down. He told that he very calmly asked her, "Are you an expert?" She told no. Then he told, "You are not an expert. I am not an expert. He is an expert. Allow him to speak." So after that, I finished my explaining within next 3-4 minutes. And at the end of it, Justice just told that you give an affidavit for that. So that's how we kind of saved biotoilets out of this court case. And after that, on 19th of November 2012, I affidavit to this effect that um, that by 21-22 we are going to install complete all coaches will have biotoilet, and I feel really proud that I was part of that core team which made it happen. By 21-22, actually all coaches, ICF as well as LHP, we converted to biotoilets. So during this time, I was also interacting with UPA ministry also, as well as Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. I used to attend meetings with Mr. Jairam Ramesh. At that time, they were trying to develop toilets for rural areas. And DRDO, Dr. Lokendra Singh used to come, and I used to go from railways. He was very keen, and he was questioning Saraswati Prasad, who was the JS MODWS, that why we are not able to do when railways is able to do, which is much difficult. In fact, he went along with us to see the toilet at the New Delhi station also. We did help them, but in a rural kind of scenario, and the way the center and states work, it's I realize it's very difficult to implement toilets. So of course we were chugging ahead, and the rural areas were having kind of they were lagging behind, and now they are kind of caught up with installation of toilets. This is one news article which came in Tehelka. This is January of 2013. So by that time, this news has, the toilets of railways has become almost a national news, and we were being uh, labeled as the biggest open toilet in the world. So ultimately, we set up a system for vendor development. Lots of things gone into it, and we had a dashboard of what was the, and this is the dashboard status on 19th of July 2013 when I left board. So I had requested the then that sir, I should hang around till 2000 toilets are installed. Otherwise, there is a chance somebody might come and try to roll back this thing. So I got two extensions in railway board after around 6 years of being there. I just moved on to railway. So that's the story about the bio toilets. So then I was, transferred to Northern Railway. And meanwhile, this amendment to 1993 Act of Manual Scavenging, it was totally replaced with a totally new Manual Scavenging and Rehabilitation Act of 2013. And this came in September 2013. And in this, actually, railway was made a party. Railway is specifically mentioned, and it is told that railway has to ensure that there is nothing close to manual scavenging is done in on Indian Railways premises. So moving on to Northern Railway, I was first deputy headquarter. I got busy with lots of other things, especially steam heritage and other things. And somewhere in 2014 February, I moved on to as senior DME coordination Delhi. That was the time when I got a phone call one day from another of my batchmate Vinay Srivastava, who was the director in coaching directorate then. He told somebody called Supan Joshi wants to meet you. He's a journalist. So I spent quite some time with Supan trying to understand. He was actually writing basically on interplay of water and sanitation. He was working at that time with Gandhi Shanti Pratishthan, and I had lots of chat about biotoilets with him and learned quite other aspects of sanitation. I had become interested in sanitation because of course, being having worked with on biotoilet. But then again, I worked along with the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation also. So he ultimately turned out to be one of my initial water gurus. And because of him, I met Mr. Anupam Mishra. He was also in Gandhi Shanti Pratishthan. He's a Gandhian. He was a Gandhian. He's no longer there. And he has worked a lot in Rajasthan for almost 25 years. He has written some very seminal books, Aaj Bhi Khare Hai Talab and Rajasthan Ki Rajat Boonde, Saaf Mathe Ka Samaj. So I had the fortune of sitting with him for hours and, just chatting with him about water and sanitation. Then in 2014 itself, when I was in EnHM, I was invited by government of Karnataka for a workshop on technology options for decentralized wastewater management, and I gave a talk on biotoilets. So what was Indian Railways experience? Because as far as biotoilets are concerned, they are the ultimate decentralized wastewater management, unlike STPs and other things, which are quite big and need lots of investment in terms of money and space. So that was the journey about the biotoilets. Then in October of 2014, I had to move out from Synonymous Coordination Delhi position. I went as Synonymous Shakur Basti. So actually, when I look back, this is the place where I kind of first time got attracted towards water. This is a DMU maintenance shed, and outside this maintenance shed, once I was walking, I clicked this picture on the left. I saw water gushing out from this down pipe after a rain. And that time is the first time which I recall when I thought, why not make a small lake inside Shakur Basti shed and harness this water and use it for at least cleaning of locomotives and other things. But then I kind of, the thought came and I did not do much about it. And during this time only, I had a meeting with Mr. Manoj Sinha, who was the Minister for State for Railways at that time. And this meeting, while I was waiting for him, he that time he was a MP from Ghazipur in UP. I had a chance of interacting with some people, some youngsters who had come from his village. And that was a kind of pivotal moment for me because I used to wonder what is the interplay of water and sanitation. I was more into sanitation at that time. So I asked one of his person who has come to meet me, a youngster, perhaps just 26, 27 years old. But he gave me a pearl of wisdom which stays with me now also. I asked that person कि आप लोग गांव में टॉयलेट क्यों नहीं यूज करते हैं? I already knew that toilet, the old people, they are having this mental block. They can't, they are used to going in open, so they can't sit down in a room and do their business. So this young man, his reply kind of stunned me. He told, साहब गांव में पानी कहाँ है? हम लोग जाते हैं एक लोटे में अपना सारा बिजनेस करके आ जाते हैं, और शहर की तरह अगर आप टॉयलेट लगा देंगे तो वो जो है वॉशिंग के लिए पानी चाहिए, फिर उस टॉयलेट फ्लशिंग के लिए चाहिए, फिर टॉयलेट को साफ करने के लिए चाहिए, इतना पानी हमारे पास कहाँ है? Then I realized the reality of it. One of the main reason why the toilets were not taking out off with a great speed in rural context. So that was one learning which was very, very fundamental and came from the grassroots, and that kind of set me thinking, no, if you have to make sanitation a priority, then water also has to be a priority simultaneously. After this, in 2015 March, I moved on to RWF. First, I joined there as secretary to GM, and then I became CWE Wheel. So the CEO here means Chief Environment Officer. So this is the part of my career where I kind of went more and more into environment. So by that time, Mr. Suresh Prabhu had joined as railway minister, and he has got lots of environmental background. He was Prime Minister's G20 Environment Sherpa also on COPS meet. So when he joined railways, one of the important things what he did was he set up an environment cell for railways. And he mandated, after an initial trial with Northern and two other railways, that all the railways should have a chief environment officer and they should have a environment and housekeeping wing. So when I was in RWF, I was basically CW Wheel in charge for wheel shop. And I was made the environment officer for RWF in June of 2016. So more than anything, this formally kind of set off my journey in environment. So when I had joined by October 2011, I think Rakesh Mishra sir might remember this. We got a consent refusal order from Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. So basically, it was a shutdown notice. Had we been a private sector unit, we would have been asked to shut shop and go home. But being part of central government, we dragged on, and of course, the main reason for this refusal was air pollution. And we had we were taking some steps, but the steps were very slow. And when I joined in 2016 as CWE Wheel, by that time, even after 4.5 years, also this air pollution thing has not been taken care of. So I started working on that. In fact, we were getting representations from neighborhood, Putanalli Colony Welfare Association, and all that you are polluting. They had complained to actually Pollution Control Board, which has resulted in consent refusal. Our local MLA, Mr. Vishwanath, also told that you kind of stop emission or move the factory away to Dodbalapur. So we started working. I had a very good team of deputies. I asked them to, take care of production and everything, and I started spending a lot of time on environmental issues. So we did manage to take care of basic case-specific consent compliance, and I did several other projects also. There is something called primary fume extraction system. We upgraded that so that its efficiency is improved. We installed something called secondary fume extraction system. This was the main thing because of which we were refused consent. After this thing came, air quality emissions improved a lot in RWF. Of course, we were doing the normal stack emissions, quantification of dust being captured. We had hazardous waste management, STP, and other things. Now, I will try to focus on water management, which became a kind of template for me for later on projects and other thing. There, if you see a wheel, typically you think about a wheel as a, steel, just a steel product. But lots of things are embedded in it. You have water, you have sand which goes into making it, you have lots of plastic which comes in packing another thing, you have wood which comes in. So when we started working out, we found out that each wheel is having a water footprint, or it is having an embedded water of almost 158 liters. And the process water requirement for RWF was something like 2 lakh to 3 lakh liters every day. So I thought, why can't we become water self-sufficient, at least in process water? Our total water offtake at that time was around 15 lakh liters per day, which included water for colony also. But instead of tackling the full 15 lakh, what I thought, I'll focus on 3 lakh liters of process water. So this is a RWF campus satellite image, and it has a low-lying area which is having the actual plant boundary as well as another artificial boundary created by this track embankment. So we started developing that area. We changed that area into wetlands. We cleared off that area. We moved almost 1,000 lorry loads of muck and mud from there. And there were 4 open wells there. We revived these open wells. So we created ponds around them, and the ponds used to collect all the rainwater and recharge these wells. We also embarked upon lots of rainwater harvesting projects. These efforts were captured in a Deccan Herald small video they made. It's basically, that video talked about the green campus and then what water projects were being taken. And these are some of the images of the videos of the area which we developed as wetlands. And the wetlands we developed, and we developed some channels and other things to channelize the water. And the 4 wells inside were revived, which started yielding water through and through. We started getting more than almost 1.5 lakh liters of water from these wells itself. So luckily I had this dumper and poclane machine with me in wheel shop. So we started deploying them every week for one day for this some kind of a mechanized Shramdan. We used to go and find out where to make new ponds and other things, where to clean up. And we kept on developing our wells. This is one of the well you can see, and this is the area around the well after rains. It used to hold water and then recharge those wells. We augmented the pumping also from the wells so that the water extraction can improve. That resulted in us becoming water self-sufficient. I thought that in 2017 we started this project in June. It will take us a year, but it so happened that within 3 to 4 months we became water self-sufficient there. These were the 4 open wells which were revived. They were having names: Kandaswamy, Damodar, Itko well, and Somashekara well. And basically, these are some of the ponds what we developed. You can see pond being developed there with the poclane and dumper. And we had to create water paths for water to flow into these ponds. So we were having basically two catchment areas, one axle shop, one wheel shop. So both these catchment area, the stormwater drains and all, we diverted towards these ponds. We also had this problem of fume extraction tunnel getting seepage and getting choked because of that. So we put a sacrificial well there, and we just put a R2 pumping arrangement there, because of which water was coming out to the cooling water system. We used to take out cooling this water and put it in cooling water system. So this itself was generating almost 20,000 liters of water every day. Then I designed and created something, rainwater mega harvester. This was based on my experience with Biotoilets. So this is a huge vessel. It is basically almost as big as a XUV 700. So all the 6 down pipes from rooftop we brought in here, and here we had a filtration cum sedimentation system, and the rainwater used to overflow and directly flow into the cooling water system. So we put 4 of these, which used to yield almost 1 lakh liter of water for every rain. This is another structure, next stage of rainwater harvesting we did. We saw that surface runoff was quite high. These are the drain along with the road, and they used to carry almost 1 lakh liters of water during the rain, every rain. So we stopped it here. We put a boundary wall here, and then we made it divert the water to this sedimentation cum filtration bed, which I designed and made. If water enters from this side, it gets self cleans itself, and last sand bed is there. Through that, it will go, and it will go to the underground reservoirs of the pump house, which were part of the cooling water system. So you can see, this is the normal what BWSSB we used to get for the plant. But here the orange one you see, when we started in June, and by September we had stopped taking the water. And you can see this line after that, the BWCC water to plant has stopped. It impacted our overall intake also. Overall intake of water, which was around 15 lakh liters, by 16, 17, it has already come to 13 lakh liters. And afterwards, it stabilized at around 10 lakh liters. That is daily consumption of water at RWF. Not only water saving, this resulted in monetary saving also. On a baseline of 4 crore, which was our annual water bill, we made a steady savings of almost 60 lakh every year. And this whole area, wetlands, it developed into a nice ecozone. We called it Vapkere ecozone. We had many type of flora and fauna coming there. We started getting lots of birds, even migratory birds, and we had a resident population of peacocks, which increased to more than a dozen. In fact, after came out and went to Southwestern Railway, one day I got some frantic calls, and people told me that a leopard has also come there. So it became a ecozone in a really true sense. Our efforts got covered by in media also. Bangalore Mirror, Hindu, Sudha is a Kannada magazine, Indian Express, Deccan Herald. Of course, we got the recognition. The first environment shield of railways, which was set up, was given to RWF, and we got some awards from state government also. How it all started, actually, the reason for this was, this is a place in Bangalore called Kogilu Cross. People who are in Bangalore will know this. So I left Bangalore in 2004. That time I was again deputy CM in RWF itself, and that time this place was a water body. So between 2004 to 2015, when I came back to join RWF, I saw this place is getting filled up. And when I started looking, lots of water bodies which were there earlier in Bangalore, they were all getting filled up, and real estate was being developed. So this also kind of triggered a thought in my mind, okay, I cannot do anything outside. Why can't I make a small lake inside RWF itself? That's how I started making these small lakes or wetlands, whatever you may call it, inside. And of course, I was further motivated by Shiv Kumar. He's also one of my water gurus. He's in ISC, and since inception, almost for 20, 25 years, he never had a water connection. He and his wife Suma, they devised rainwater collection mechanisms, and throughout the year, they survived only on rainwater. So this was actually one of the triggers which told me, if he can do for his house, why can't I do? Why can't I be water self-sufficient? When I started looking at the total 15 lakh liters. Then I narrowed it down to factory requirement of 3 lakh liters, and we did become self-sufficient in that. In fact, afterwards, we started having excess water. So we started routing that water to different uses like gardening and flushing and other things. So, as I told, this is my one of my first water gurus, Mr. Vishwanath. Then I had opportunity to interact with several other people in the field. This is Brian Arbogast, the gentleman here. He's from Bill Gates Foundation. I had a meeting with him. There's another of my friends, Stanzin, water friends. By the way, Brian Arbogast is also the kind of he was the team which made Microsoft Access. He was earlier with Microsoft, then he went to Gates Foundation. I was getting invitation from other places also for my water projects and other things. I got an invite from Bihar government for their Shatabdi Samaroh of Gandhiji's Champaran Satyagraha. But of course, I was not allowed to go. My GM told, "Kahan jaoge Bihar, Bihar mein." When I joined SWR, then that time the GM Sanjeev Kishore sir told that, okay, you like to work for environment, I'll give you an independent portfolio for environment, but only thing is that you will also have to do project monitoring for him. So that's how I kind of got into ENHM almost full time there. There we took lots of overall environmental things. We worked a lot on solid waste management, especially at stations. Then water, I already had a soft corner for water, so I kept working. This is a golf course in Hubli. Made up a program for making it totally self-sufficient in water. In fact, that time it was using borewell water from 5 borewells for this uh, golf colony as well as the golf course as well as the colony in neighborhood. So during 2.5 years I was there, this project did not take off because of lack of participation in tenders and all. But I'm so happy now the project is on and it is being project is going on. Here also basically what we are developing along with the T's, we are trying to develop water bodies. So they will have a dual purpose. They will be like a hazard also as well as they will act in recharge of the pond, golf course. And then I have plans for making open wells there also so that we can extract water from open wells and not basically over exploit the confined aquifer, which is through which from which we take water through bore wells. Of course, our efforts, it resulted in we getting the first Swachhta Pakhwada award. This is the shield what we got, and later we got the second environment shield. I mean, that was my second environment shield, but SWR got an environment shield. Um, by that time, actually, I had already left. I had taken VRS, and but 2nd of February of this year, when I went to see Sanjeev sir, because that month he was retiring also, and I had to attend a function at Deshpande Foundation. So he was nice enough to call the full mechanical team and have a photo with the shield, both the shields, the second Swachhta Pakhwada shield as well as the environment shield. So that's it. How I went on now post VRS. I'm quite busy the moment. In fact, I told Mani sir that I'm taking VRS. So he told VRS, okay, what are you going to do? I told him, sir, I'll do projects around water. So he, in a typical Sudhanshu Manish manner, he told water. Then same day he sent this nice couplet by Bashir Badr. अगर फुर्सत मिले पानी की तहरीरों को पढ़ लेना, हर एक दरिया हजारों साल का अफसाना लिखता है. So that kind of set tone for me for my water journey. And immediately after that, I had the opportunity to have lots of interaction at Deshpande Foundation. These people are doing some tremendous amount of work. Deshpande Foundation, Deshpande Startups, Deshpande Skilling. Then my friend stands in, he's a Ladakhi who was in Bangalore. By this time, during COVID, he has moved to Ladakh. The moment he got to know that I am quitting, he told you come and study water in Ladakh. So in fact, I had a very fascinating journey. I moved on to Ladakh to kind of study it in most extremes of conditions. This is the photo I had taken in Ladakh. So for me, for you, it might be a landscape, but when I see it, I see totally waterscape in this. I can see, where all water in form of ice, glaciers, and other things was there. You can make out, you can make out the marks of water. They are present everywhere. And lots of round stones and rocks are present in this terrain, the cold desert of Ladakh, which indicated basically that water was there. I did study sanitation also there. There were some issues with the hospitality industry there. We discussed all those things. But by that time, my dear batchmate Narayan, when he got to know that I'm quitting, he told, come to the club and, okay, if you're going to do projects in water, why don't you join us? By that time, he was already joined something called Mahavir International, an NGO. So my first project literally landed in my lap automatically as soon as I took VRS, and this is a Kathua's container corporation facility where Mahavir International was already taking a water project. I became party to that. So it is basically again a large scale recharge project where we were making some ponds in this Concor facility. Also, we were putting injection wells inside. So these are the ponds with injection well you can see, and this picture. This is a recent picture which I took during last visit after rains. He persisted and got me on board as a member of formal member of Mahavir International. So I have now joined them as one of their directors. Of course, the Narayan is the big boss there. Then I kept interacting a lot with railways because I found that there is lots of scope for doing many baseline projects and other projects in railways. This is at Raipur workshop. This is in NWR headquarters in Jaipur. This is Kolkata Metro. Keep on going for studying water at different places. This is something called CPES in Mumbai. This, of course, KGM shed and Gati Shakti projects around that shed. I'm involved with lots of lake conservation efforts in Bangalore also. This is something called Keremitra meet organized by WWF in Bangalore. Uh, these are some other interactions. Being part of few panels and all on sustainability. I'm studying water technologies also, especially STP, because STP we think it's something waste, but actually STP is becoming a new source of water. All our secondary purpose can be met by STP output, which has undergone secondary or tertiary treatment. In fact, this was one of the most fascinating STPs I visited. Here you can't see any STP. Actually, it's a school compound, and this is the school stage. And left and right is the STP. You can hardly make out any STP is there. And in fact, it's such a well functioning STP that there is no stink. Otherwise, it will be difficult to carry your morning prayers here. And you have residential areas immediately behind. This was another fascinating STP which I saw, which is made in the basement of Christ University in Bangalore. It's amazing how that space has been used. Of course, this is a STP of BWSSB. This is a mainstream STP of 7 MLD, that is million liters per day it's processing. This is a picture of an open well which we saw in Ajmer workshop. So my actually core working nowadays is revival of open wells by creation of ponds and other things. So that is my core, and of course, anything to do with water, I'm happy doing it. So I'll request all of you be a change maker as far as water is concerned. I do lots of teaching and talk sessions also. This is Azim Prince University, Iridium, and Jan University. Currently, I'm having projects in various places. I'm not get into that. This section, I'm almost an hour now into the talk. I'll just take 10-15 minutes to talk, expose to you different aspects of water. I will try to go through this a bit fast. Railways and water is having a deep interconnect. In fact, railway, on one hand, it impacts the flow of water by linearly dividing the water bodies, but it also can be a very good, method to harness water. If you see a typical station actually, this is a Yashwantpur station, 2023 figures. If you take, it is every day it is using almost 5 lakh liters of water, and the water bill for this place is 2 crore every year. So if you are able to do some water projects, we will not only impact conserve the water, but we will also help in reducing our water bill. Even our trains, we normally don't think that and don't see them as a water thing, but I see them as a container of water. Each typical train like this Swarn Jayanti on passing through Shindwani Ghat, it carries a typically almost 40 kl of water in different water tanks. 40,000 liters of water is being carried and it is being refilled. This photo was taken by my rail fan friend Arup. A station like Yashwantpur, if you see, normally this station is having so much catchment area. It's not only the station. Here is the station, but if you see the coaching depot, maintenance yard, and everything, it's a huge catchment area, and it's available for rainwater harvesting. We have done some good projects in Bangalore area. So not only consumer, we can turn to be producers of water. You can see some water opportunities. I'll just explore, take you around with. This is a Sir M. Visheshwaraya terminal station. There we have implemented in Southwestern Railway some very important water projects. If you see from the top, actually, these are beautiful surfaces on which rainwater can be collected. All our station, this station platform shelters, they are wonderful structures to actually capture some very clean water. So, not only this, even a typical station, small wayside station like this, it's a great recharge structure because of the nature of structure of the track and the ballast and the embankment and the formation. You have a readily available porous area in which water which is falling, which will seep inside. So we are automatically by design, we are kind of recharging. Even a yards and all water recharge happens. Of course, tracks, a typical track like this, it is automatically recharging. So in this is what we did in M. Visheshwaraya terminal. We took platform 6, 7, 900 square meter of full area we took, and there is a wonderful front canopy area of 600 square meter. We took it, we put piping and all, and we have a filtration system. We directly take this rainwater. Then we put some 19 numbers of injection borewell, which increases the groundwater level. Not only here in this Baipanalli MEMU car shed also, we again have rooftop rainwater harvesting. So, and plus we have a STP also here. So this station is almost water positive. I'm saying almost because we have not done proper metering here. So I'm not able to make a very kind of confident claim, but I feel that we are. If not, then we further have more platform shelters which we can exploit. These are some drawings of that. This that from Banaswadi car shed, you can see the arrangement what we have. The waterfall first comes into silt trap, it gets cleaned and goes to the jack well. Then it goes to sand filter, then it is directly injected in our main GLR. We created some ponds also there in Banaswadi car shed. This is one of the pond. Actually, there was a a stagnation problem. So we just converted, diverted, and the track was getting kind of submerged in water. So we, along with the track, we created this pond and diverted all the water there. That solved the problem of track submergence also. Of course, normal recharge pits we can make is another pond. And another good water conservation effort which is there is the car washing plant. This also results in lots of saving of water. SCPs is something which in railways we have to pay attention. In fact, not only railways, outside also most of the STPs are not working properly. I have seen many city STP and all that, they are not. But nowadays new thrust is there and on STP working. Trees, normally we talk about tree plantation, but I see trees in an entirely different perspective. For me, a tree is the most beautiful recharge mechanism of nature. What happens? The recharge is impacted mainly by the runoff. Happens when the surface is kind of concretized or tarred. But tree, what happens when the tree is there? Rain, when it falls on it, it kills the velocity of the tree. The kinetic energy is lost, and all the water which is there in the canopy, actually it kind of gets channelized through the branches and the trunks to the ground. Whatever falls on the ground also, because of the leaves which are scattered there, it holds the water, so it helps Any tree plantation is also a water recharge project. You can say that it helps in aids in recharge of the groundwater. Uh, Water, whatever is there on Earth, is basically all ancient water. It was formed around 4.6 billion years ago, along with the formation of the universe. Water is having a special effect on us. It brings some kind of calmness. It has all the religion is having. I'll not get into the technical part of the groundwater and other things. Our food is having actually a big water footprint. 18% of world population is in India, and only 4% of fresh water is there. Out of that fresh water, 78% is used in agriculture. Normally, we see yield of uh, crops, but it is time that we start taking how much water goes per cubic meter of yield. Our food is also having lots of water footprint. In fact, non-veg is having the highest footprint, mutton, the hamburger, and the veggies can be happy because the vegetarian food footprint is very less. All our activities from morning to breakfast to lunch to dinner to cleaning up, or even our energy footprint is also having a water footprint. Interplay between energy and water is very interesting. Energy is having water footprint as well as water is having energy footprint. Nowadays in West especially, from wastewater they have started to even get back heat. So water is not only having other components, it is having a thermal component also. Now in West they have started recovering heat from the sewage to heat their houses. We can do many things. Institutional level we can do many things. We can at least start talking about water. Simple things like meetings, you don't use minimum water you use. I have shown you all these things. Tree plantation helps in water conservation. Creation of open wells. What has happened from 60s, 70s? There is lots of emphasis on bore wells. Bore wells normally they go to the confined aquifer and they kind of take out the water which is non-replenishable in the sense it recharges very slow. And culture of open wells is getting destroyed because of the ease of with which we can do borewell, as well as use save space also. You can have an extra room in your house instead of putting an open well. So the real estate pressure plus other things have left resulted in open wells becoming kind of redundant. There is a time for revival of these open culture of open wells. In fact, PK Mishra sir, who's the GM at MCF now, he's a historian of railways. So once he told कि अजय पहले जितने भी स्टेशन के एस्टिमेट होते थे उसमें कुएं का एस्टिमेट बिल्ट इन होता था. Maybe we have to get back to old ways because as railways we have lots of land and land is not an issue, so we should get back to the culture of open wells. In community there are many things which can be done. I'll not get into details for rainwater recharge as well as consumption point. We should not waste these bottled water, especially because it's the most expensive water in terms of resource utilization. So we should avoid this and simply use canned water. It's very important that we discuss water with the younger generations because they are the people who are going to kind of save the earth. We are the generation who is kind of spoiled. Individual level also, if you see our water consumption, Indian standard is 135 liters per day. Most of it is used for secondary purpose like washing and other things. At home individual level, you can go for aerators nowadays. This is being talked about, especially in Bangalore. It reduces the flow rate. Uh, it is having some inherent problems because sometimes the household mates and other things they refuse to work with the aerator. Now, RO is something about which I'd like to tell. RO actually most of the places RO is not required, and we should avoid RO until unless it is very much required because it wastes lots of water. It's very high value water. So basically, as for IS, if you see, 500 is acceptable limit, but in absence of alternate sources, you can even go up to 2000 TDS. We are TDS obsessed. The part of it has to do with how the marketing has been done. So RO we should try to avoid, and basically it is. And even if you are having at home, make sure it's TDS is around 400. You need not keep it very low. In fact, nowadays it is kind of proved medically that if very low TDS can be harmful for us. Uh, I'll just quickly, of course, there are many other things. I'm going to extreme. Even washing machine, I have started using as a water generator. So what I do, the final rinse cycle. Normally 3 times water will be filled, and for cleaning of the clothes. So the final rinse cycle, I just have a flat tub there and put the discharge pipe in that and collect this water, which can be used for secondary purposes. Now, detergents and all excess use of detergent is causing lots of water problems. This is a drain in Bangalore, and somewhat our cleaning obsession also has to do with that. We do excess amount of cleaning, even excess amount of detergent. Another, in fact, this is 2011 picture of Kalindi Kunj. I had taken, um, and I was shocked to see the amount of the foam happening in Yamuna. This is the Kalindi Kunj barrage. And unfortunately, same water is being used for swimming and other purpose by kids who were there. Even things, simple things on individual level, like car washing, don't use a pipe thing, use bucket. We have to understand that whatever, if you put more and more pollutants in water, ultimately we are doing some kind of atrocity with water. And that same water, ultimately, the as you saw, only 4% of water in world is fresh water, and that too 0.1% of that is available for us for drinking. Another thing, we have to be very conscious when we are around water, and that itself can solve lots of problems. Just being mindful. Many people tell whether we should take a shower or bucket, but ultimately, even in shower or bucket, if you're not careful, you will end up using more water. So mindfulness means you have to see water, you have to feel water, you have to hear water, you have to smell water, and you have to taste water. Then you will be absolutely connected. And of course, the bucket challenge, try to take your bath only with one bucket and see if you can reduce it to half. In one of the talks which I gave for Mahavir International annual function, one justice of High Court, Mr. Jan, was there. In fact, he candidly shared with us that he's using only 8 mugs of water to take bath. So bucket challenge is on you. Let's see what we can do. There is another very interconnect of solid waste management. Ultimately, whatever you throw out, it comes back to you in form of either leachate or even with factories when they are so-called recycling plastic and other waste, it comes to air. So this leachate goes in the water table. Ultimately, everything gets contaminated, and this is the water which is taken out to make our vegetable and all what we are eating. So don't think if you're throwing waste out of your home, out of sight, out of mind, it will get out. It will ultimately come back to you. So we have to be ultra cautious about where our solid waste also goes. Ultimately, it will go and contaminate water also. If you see a typical household waste, 60% is organic, which can be composted. I used to compost at home. This is in PK Road, 7th floor. You can see these vertical composters are there. This is my composter set up in Bangalore. Of course, in colony situation, you can have community kind of composting. Now, plastics is a big issue which is impacting water, and now we have got to know that microplastics are not only in human blood; they are getting inside our cellular system also. So there are big talk about river cleanup. There is big talk about ocean cleanup. But fundamental is that we have to tackle the generation itself. This nice analogy was given by one environmentalist that if you are having your kitchen flooded, you see your tap leaking and blasting water. You don't take mops and try to clean the water. First thing, you fix the tap. So that is the approach if you take and you beat plastic pollution. I think lots of water contamination issues will be taken care of. Simple 7 Rs nowadays. It is called rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, recycle, repair. Can reduce the burden of plastics. I will not go into detail of this. These are some of the pictures. Only thing I'll say, recycling is one of the biggest fraud which plastic industry is doing on us. They keep claiming that it is recyclable and all, but not even 5% of the fresh plastic which is made world over is being recycled. Rethink is very important. If we just rethink how we do our shopping, we can reduce our plastic footprint drastically. Don't take things which are packed in plastic. You take everyday consumables which are not packed in plastic. Go for steel bottles, even masala and all, go for one which is in paper. Like this, if you start looking in shops itself, you'll find that everything is having a non-plastic alternative. And this basically, you know, your staples also you can have open instead of packed. This picture I took in Reliance, instead of taking this poha packed in plastic, I just took something in paper bag. I found out in Bangalore, luckily nearby in Yalanka only, a new mill has set up from where you can even get your oil without packaging. So we take, this is not our bottle, we just take a container, steel container, and get our oils also. So in fact, we have reduced our uh, plastic output so much that it has become less than 1/10 of what used to be. Our kitchen has also started reflecting this. Even things like shaving and all, you can go back to the old way. Um, See, the shop people, they say buy more, save more, bigger the saving, bigger the happiness. All this is basically to fatten somebody's pockets. Not they are not environment friendly at all. One thing is you have to reduce your consumption also unnecessary. This is my environment friendly take. This is my watch collection. I've stopped having quartz watch. Mostly all these are automatic or mechanical watch. So there are no cells also. Many times you just refuse in a shop when you go. If alternate is there, don't take the plastic packing. Uh, Reduce. This is one thing I want to talk about. Many times we are shown I mean, we are prompted to do excess consumption like this. Toothpaste ad is there. Why there is need for such a big paste to be taken? Just a pea size will do. Similarly, why you should have such big ketchup or jam and all? So much you should have. You can reduce your consumption. As if consumption will give you happiness. So these kind of ads are coming. Throw away your 1 year old phone and take another one that will make you happy. All these kind of things, na, buy two get one free, offer, free, sale, bargain, deal, percentage off. All these kind of things. When you see, you please and try to understand what will be the environmental impact of this unnecessary purchases. There is another thing in last I would like to tell, that we should also not waste food. Make a habit that you don't leave anything in your thali once you are done, because this all food waste as it is criminal, but more than that, it has an environmental impact also. It leads to mixed waste which goes into landfills and generate lots of methane. And methane, as you know, is the it causes more damage than the carbon. We can go for repair and other things. So I'll just finish with these final words. There's a small clipping by Carl Sagan. I think this is a very famous clipping. It's called Pale Blue Dot. You search on YouTube, you'll get it. It's a very, very profound narrative by Carl Sagan. So with this, I finish. This is a picture I took of the biggest open well, which was in RWF factory. In fact, it was having two rails on top of it, on which pumping arrangement was fitted. So one day I decided to, when the well was full, one day morning when I was there, the sunrise was there. I tried to climb on those rails, and I captured this sunrise morning in the well. So with this, I finish. Of course, you know my contact numbers. Thank you very much, sir, DL sir and Vidhi sir, for giving this opportunity.
Yes, I'm a part of this part of this Biotoilet project. But
Yes, very much, sir.
definitely, I think I see your contribution to the fantastic project, which has had great implications. One of the most consequential projects of Indian Railways, I would say. And you've done a fantastic job.
Thank
And
you, sir.
your journey thereafter to Bangalore and its environment, and how you took care of the water supply and air pollution over there, is also fascinating. So I
Thank you,
wish you
sir.
all the very best in your endeavors, and it has been a wonderful talk. Thank you very much.